Hi guys, welcome back to Occultists Anonymous. Sponsored by Roll20, the Onyx Math, and viewers like you. Thank you very much for your support and ongoing help, and I legitimately closed Patreon. A special shout out to all our patrons who support us monetarily. It means a lot to us and allows us to fix things like when my mic breaks, and I was able to this weekend just go get a new one. Thank you. Like, legitimately thank you. If you're
kind of self-serving, right? It's kind of self-serving that they didn't have to hear helicopter pilot Drew anymore.
Yes. Yeah, you're all welcome. And if you are not able to support us monetarily, thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, just hanging out in the chat. Come by Discord, yeetinto.space, hang out with us. If you're part of the community, we appreciate you. If you're being shy, it's totally cool. Just come hang out and just click a little reaction button now and then, or like the thing. It's cool. We appreciate you just being here. Add the likes or add the views.
Every one of Noctole's comments.
Yeah. So a special shout out, like I said, to our patrons who support us monetarily. Thank you, Adele, Al, Alan Michael, Alexander, Ang Falleth, Bernie, Blood Angel, Brandon, Chris, Daniel, Doc the Undead, Delore, Emil, Funzo Ali, George, Jack, Jenny, John, Josh, Julian, Catfeathers, Crazyman 1772, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Moonkeeper, Neomagus, Nova, Other Michael, Parker, Perry, Puppeteer, Riafio, Ryan, Shaksara, Cinna, Terran, The Arcane, Thomas, Toast, Usuf Sama, Vortex, Warrior Redacted, Woodsaum, and Zoltan. Thanks, guys. It means a lot, and it is so cool that you're here to join us. Also, a quick reminder, especially if you're coming over to this Chronicle from the previous Chronicle, Conca is open to everybody. It is public. There are some things that I still have behind my curtain, but as we move forward, I will draw the curtain back. But you guys can come in and hang out and see all the stuff, and the Sleepwalker tier of patrons are able to add little notes and add comments and stuff like that as we progress forward. So if you're one of those tier or want to be one of those tier and leave notes like, this guy totally sucked, or I think he's up to something, come on by. We will see them, and as long as they're not inappropriate, I won't delete them.
It's a Drew NPC, they're always up to something.
Oh yeah. Everybody has motives. Some of them are nice.
That's why you gotta figure it out.
Yep. Which reminds me,
no one spells.
Yeah. Speaking of figuring things out, when we last left off, they threw a wrench into my works and was like, hey, by the way, we have a couple pieces of Arcana that are going to bypass a little bit of your stuff. So when we last left, everybody was in this kind of telepathic waking dream linked mindscape. And Gisela and Jean-Paul had basically realized, hey, between the two of us, we can actually pull together a couple pages out of Mortimer Bethune's book, and between the code that Gisela has translated, and then Jean-Paul saying, actually, this is something I can just understand now with a little bit of magic. Let's try and decrypt some of what we have seen. And if I remember correctly, Gisela, you had basically mentally summoned a giant version of the book or something like that?
Basically we have one here to look at.
Yeah. And so flipping through the first couple pages, starting right from the start is that very front page that has some kind of title and byline, but it's all encoded. And we can start off there. If Ash, you would like to roll Gisela's intelligence plus, in this case, it would be technically computers, but enigmas would be the mental stat. If you do not have computers/enigmas, then it's going to be like a -3.
Yeah, that puts into investigation.
No, I don't think that'll necessarily work. But that said, we do have ways around that. If you're not going to roll, I will go ahead and toss in that, Gisela kind of looks at this and says, the code was explained to me, but it's still not clicking.
Yeah, no, I would be at a -1.
When Gisela says it's not clicking, Cloak, in the dreamscape, says, with your permission, I might be able to improve your understanding.
Sure. Don't know what that means, but okay.
And then Cloak says, honestly, I just have an intuitive expectation of what it means. I don't actually know. That's how magic is occurring to me at this point.
Just kind of will it into existence,
Exactly.
right?
So, Cloak wants to cast an improvised spell with the practice of perfecting
Mm-hmm.
to enhance her intellect.
Heck yeah.
This will be the...
You can't teach me about enigmas.
Yep. If you don't have any dots, I can't do anything about it. I don't have Mind 4,
Oh, yeah,
so I
that's
can't
other
give
stuff
you
up.
any dots. So, but I can boost your mental stats. Yeah, so this will be the equivalent of Augment Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And it's just going to be standard approach.
You will have to
So-
spend an additional reach because you're concentrating currently, or you have spell control over telepathy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's totally fine with me. Let's total this up. Get my character sheets. Alrighty. Character sheets actually strange. Alright, there we
That
go.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, right? Okay, so I want it to last long enough for her to, I guess, make this roll, but if we're perusing it, then perhaps, Drew, it might be more appropriate to make it last a scene. What do you think?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So then a reach for instant cast, a reach for advanced duration, and a reach for this being an additional spell. So that's 3 reach, and I have 1 free.
Yep.
Cool. This is 1. Alright. I'm not going to increase potency. I'll give you +3 because it's default potency. Let's do that.
That should be. Still let me roll 2 dice.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, let me think then.
And then you can willpower. There'll be plenty.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Okay,
5.
Perfect. So Yantra bonus would be 1 there, and I can't remember if I was drawing on something else. Before.
I mean, can you just sort of use the Lumenthal connection we've all got? As the
Oh,
answer?
that's a good point. Look at the chart again.
Thinking of a couple possibles.
Yeah. Just trying to remember when I was. I used concentration. That's why. That's where that +2 came from when I was casting the equivalent of incognito presence. Okay, so for Yantras, I'd like to invoke the Ason. And then. I guess in Cloak's mind, we're all connected by telepathic or dreamlike chains. And that being an important semiotic aspect of his magic. Perhaps could function as a path tool.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, cool. So then that'll be a +2 bonus from Yantras. Great. And we'll let that ride. So, the Ason is his dedicated tool. So this is going to be a chance die for Paradox. And he's going to be rolling 6 dice.
Cool.
Oop.
That's okay.
Hmm.
And roll your wisdom. Oh, wait, no. Chance die. Never mind.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Can I try again?
Yes.
Great.
It adds one to the paradox. Yeah.
One real die.
Yep. Roll it.
Actually, go ahead and roll, but this is actually one chance die.
Oh, it remains one chance die.
No. But I will mention, especially as we have discovered the Assault as the dedicated magical tool, and we had the flute as well, and you guys are starting to notice, okay, if I use these items, this seems less difficult. But then also here, casting this spell, for some reason, also doesn't seem to be generating...
Oh, that's right. We're in the astral.
Yeah. But yeah.
Are you just interpreting that way, that -2?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's the ish here. Yep.
I meant not in the sense of I know it's not, we're not in one of the levels of the astral, just the decrease in paradox with mind spells. Is that what you're alluding to?
We're not in the
cool, great.
The physical world
All
anymore.
right, fantastic. And so the house rule is you can repeat spells with a -1, is that right?
Affirmative.
Okay, cool, thank you. There we go.
Cool.
So for the scene, you have +3 to your intelligence.
Okay.
And so you'll be rolling your int, +3, -3, because we do not have any enigmas, +2, because you've actually been taught this code, and then if you want to throw in willpower, you can.
Oh, I could just roll.
I wasn't
before
going
then.
to mention it until you said that you were going to try.
Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna roll intelligence basically, +2.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because the +3 counteracts the -3 from being unskilled.
If it'll let you roll just that, yeah. Cool.
It will.
No such luck.
7 dice, 0 successes.
7, 5,
course.
7, 5, 1, 6, 1. Nope. Just cannot be bothered to give you an 8.
Words.
Who knows?
So yeah, you sit with the book and look over it, and the code was explained to you, and you can remember it, and your brain is firing on like all cylinders, and it's just not coming together.
That's why you never trust intelligence. Wasted thoughts.
That's right.
Does somebody else want to try?
Kind of turn the book around, and notably, like as you're moving the book, you've got the front page, and then you notice that the pages behind it are blank.
Cloaks says, maybe the solution could be more direct. When you are translating language, what is happening? It's a half rhetorical question, right? He's trying to work out his thoughts as he's, discussing this with everyone. I think the meaning is the same. There's subtle differences in how we all use words to describe things and communicate our thoughts. But translation is eliminating a barrier, isn't it?
At least for Mastigos, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, not how I think about
Yeah,
it.
not how I think about it either.
But sure.
I think I might be able to get the meaning to arise without any of us applying our own particular perspective. I'm going to try. So, Cloak is going to cast and improvise spell, of course, because he's on ropes, with the practice of weaving, to weave the meaning into our own consciousnesses, meaning of all language, and ability to understand things. And I think the imago for him would be, as we're in this dreamscape, he's going to contextualize it around the dreamscape. And so because he's able to exert his will And mind is a recognition that so many aspects of mental things are constructs or figments, illusions, right? He's eliminating the, well, let's see, could it be chains here? Let's see. He thinks that, yeah. Okay, so for Cloak, barriers are forms of imprisonment, right?
Sure.
Pinioning. So chains are one way to do it, bars and stuff, being locked up. So in his mind, language is a way of locking meaning into discrete areas. And so in his mind, he's eliminating the bars or the borders or any other semiotic representation of a barrier around the meaning of the language here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, I'll write up a spell.
It's actually effectively going to be the same dice as before,
agreed
right?
on. That's right, it should be. Let's see, let's look at that template. It's going to be advanced duration. I'll need an additional reach. Oh, I'll drop that spell that benefits Gisela. So I'll need an additional reach, advanced duration, instant cast, an additional spell. I'll cast one so everyone gets it, because Cloak wants us all to be able to understand it. So advanced scale, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern is it's not a different language.
The code, because we are basically using universal language, but yeah, it translates code and everything. Now, it won't change if you're using code words. So go like Navajo code talkers. Like, okay, you got turtle. What the hell does turtle mean? Well, it means tank, but you don't know that. So that would be the barrier that universal language would come across. But in this case, that's not an issue based on what you got from speaking with Rilla.
It also gains the meaning of symbols, so arguably it would understand what they're saying with turtle, with code words. Because the notion is that
I would label that symbols as more of, because it doesn't come up elsewhere, cartouches and, things of that kind of symbology rather than directly into, because it does mention that, hang on, maybe not.
Yeah, it's all meaning.
Yeah, okay. I could have sworn there was some bit in there about it doesn't translate code, but yeah. Fair point.
All right, cool.
Not a concern either way for this particular book. Anyways.
Gotcha. And of course, that's how Mysticos thinks about it, right? Like all those things are just disguises. The meaning is true regardless of what you say. Just in the same way that with Prime 1, right? If you know the truth of the word, just because someone has written it in a different language or with some code words, it doesn't disguise it. But okay, so that's 4 reach, and I have 1 free. We're gonna do 2, and he's gonna spend the willpower. So he's rolling 9 dice.
Oh, I didn't scroll down.
Let's see. He's already invoked a paradox once.
Twice.
So we got...
Twice.
Twice. Oh, that's right, because I rolled twice. That's right. So we have 3 dice of paradox. Invoke twice. That's 5 dice. We have -2 from the Ason, the dedicated 2, and then -2 from being in the pseudo astral. So 1 real die.
Still 0.
All right, awesome. Cool.
The spell kind of settles over everybody's thoughts through this telepathic connection. And yes, the book, and let's get all, for shout out to all you older millennials, let's get all like ghostwriter with this, as the words just shift and becomes far more readable. And it's titled Investigations of the Astra Voidal by Mortimer Bethune, assisted by, I don't have their names handy, but Rilla and Jules. Rilla, whatever last name, Jules Lamb. I'm going to remember Rilla's name here in a second. I'm just going to remember it really hard. Rilla Remington. And so, yes, that is the title page. And then flipping through blank page, and then, page 10. This actually has text and some diagrams across it. In short, summary, and you guys can pass the book around, somebody can read it aloud, but it comes down to an observation from a telescope, Mortimer Bethune's telescope, and noted that there were a section of stars that he was studying and recording and making observations on, and they were just gone. Now, not all of them in the region that he was studying were gone. Just a large subset of them were gone from this area. He had concerns about his telescope, basically pulled it apart, put it back together, and observed, and the stars were all back where they were supposed to be the next day. Very, very odd shenanigans, but also looking at this book, this is the one that Rilla has, basically codified. So these are not literally his day-to-day notes, but, more of an observation and literal journal of events, and dated sometime in May 1835. Flipping forward a few pages, and feel free to jump in if anybody has comments to make. But flipping forward just a handful of pages, page 14 to 15, more observational records of this weird void in space. This time, this is the third time that Mortimer has found it. Also in London, 1837. So somewhere between 1835 and 1837, he found this thing again, this being the third time. Also in the same area of the sky. Flip a bunch of pages, 28, 29 says, same void, different coordinates in the sky, and observed it long enough to note that it is actually moving. Curiously, in a very bizarre pace through the sky, because whatever it is blocking out some stars as it passes by, but not others. And it is moving at a observable pace. And this observation was made in Africa in 1839. Mortimer Bethune actually lists the actual place in Africa he found this. I'm just shorthanding this. Flipping forward quite a few pages 52 to 53. A long pair of pages detailing out other astronomical events that have been recorded and studied, and how none of them do anything remotely like this. Which it also kind of details out a little bit more, that this seems to be some kind of circle or sphere, because they can't get any decent measurements of it, that passes in front of stars. And it's bizarre because, well, there are some stars that are in front of it and are not being blocked by it, and there are some stars that are behind it. But it's also moving so fast, effectively, between these stars at astronomical distances and at that speed, that it is observable in the night, this shifting thing across, which naturally every scientist, for you all, I would imagine, like, oh, that is weird. Never heard of anything like that, but of course none of you are learned scientists.
Yeah.
And then the very last page, and this is where Rilla kind of freaked out and realized what she was showing you. It's a ton of mathematical formulas, just pages and pages. Well, in this case, a pair of pages that have no real context. While universal language is terrific, this is where I'm going to be like, you don't have the full context of what these formula are to actually be able to tell, well, X is something. Well, what is X? Well, without the full page, you couldn't actually translate. You wouldn't know what that X means without the full context. And also because I hadn't thought about that, and I wasn't sure. Like, I don't know what X means.
And also, just in general, it's not teaching you how to do algebra.
But it teaches you the meaning of it. I mean,
At minimum.
Drew, can I throw some dice here?
Absolutely. What do we?
I'm looking for an intelligence occult roll to get the mystical significance of disappearing and reappearing stars and clusters.
Heck yeah, go for it. Yeah, and feel free if anybody else has like various other investigative stuff that they're gonna. Yeah, no, Isabel's like this is not. I'm back over here looking at the
3 dots of politics and a dot of occult. That's it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Theo, with their 4 dots of occult and 3 intelligence, comes up with 2 successes. And yeah, looking through and reading over this, there's no like immediate. And this is some of Drew's thing. I don't know of any like story that talks about some stars going out, or anything like that. Yeah, so this is far and beyond out of the ordinary. So it could, as far as you can see, be a scientific phenomenon. But from the occult side, anytime the stars go out is usually a bad thing. It's not a pleasant thing. Either it's, some powerful entity falling to Earth or something is blotting out, the sun and the stars, but something like this moving across the stars, that's, nothing comes to your recollection.
But there's usually not any good associations with stars disappearing.
Right.
Okay.
Can I? So, use Eye for the Stranger?
It's a very good use for it.
Yeah, just sort of this seems weird.
Seems fucky.
What flavor of weird are we dealing with?
I will spend willpower because I want to succeed.
Before you do that, where is Destiny at? Merits. Drawback. Okay, it's only when you avoid the doom. Okay, carry on. Three successes. Looking at this, you're no, wise and learned scientist, but there's enough going on here. And some of the various stuff, especially in that section about where Mortimer discusses some of the other astronomical events that they've studied. This doesn't fit anything that matches scientific knowledge. And as Chris so eloquently put it, this is fucky. And you are pretty well certain that something supernatural is going on here. Also, throw in a little splash of Rilla and Jules were collecting weird alchemical ingredients.
They're brewing potions?
Not that you've observed, but
They bought all the things to be doing witchcraft.
Well, there are all kinds of things you can do with, and Wheel says in high speech, occult artifacts. Sorry, I said Wheel. I meant Cloak. Cloak says in high speech. Sorry, that's a different character. Cloak says in high speech, occult artifacts. And he materializes in his hand like a few trappings of voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make an implicit point. I was not educated about science, so it's hard for me to understand the context for this to be strange, other than a dark, light obscuring object moving through space and exciting the imaginations of very learned people.
What is science but just another aspect of secret knowledge in occultism.
Cloak nods gratifyingly at Theo when she says that.
I don't think that's what science is at all.
Isabel has issues with this, but she's keeping it to herself.
And just one of those little background notes, this does mean that Mortimer has been chasing this thing for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
11.
Started in 1835.
Wow. Yeah, he really does seem heavily motivated by it.
But not obsessed.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So why is he here?
He's looking for it.
Maybe it will pass through this location.
Realize said they've been following it. Didn't know what it was, but that they've been going around to various places and setting up and looking, and what did she call it? Unknown astrological phenomenon or something.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know what it is. It's a void, which is menacing.
I have a question for you, Gisela.
Hmm?
Can you tell if it will bring danger to us and the people we care about if they continue evaluating this void?
I can try. That's a more complicated question than I've tried to find, but
Anybody wondering why my face? I just smacked my hand on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Real
I
Yeah, I got
good.
that through sort of the context clues.
Oh, I thought you were excited that we were exposing something that you were trying to keep it or something like that.
It's going to turn out that Mortimer Bethune is really John Cena in the past.
Time traveler John Cena. He's up there
Yeah,
with
that's right.
totally real. What is it? Real cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
Actual
Yeah,
cannibal?
Actual cannibal.
He's hiding in the night. It's Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife. It's Shia LaBeouf.
yeah, I guess this would just be a divination with.
Yep. Which, as far as I can see, is the first time she's pushed for that complex.
Yeah, I've only asked yes or no questions.
Layla.
It's real bad.
Just give her a character. She'll be satisfied. We just established their dogs in town.
We did. It's just background noise. My background music game is amplified.
I'll,
Yeah, I think I only need 2 reach, right?
Yeah.
One for instant, one for
Complex. Mm-hmm.
the complex.
That's why good old Weird this year was just throwing this out left and right, because it's just like, yeah.
mm-hmm.
So long as you are the subject. You're asking questions about your future, basically. Or somebody adjacent's future.
And for the entras, I'm using it with the card deck.
Mhm.
And trying to think of what. Can I use the book? Because I'm like taking the knowledge we have in the book,
I'm cool with that
and that's what I am sort of.
I'm cool with that for a +1, sure.
Yeah.
It's, in your head in this weird, telepathic dreamscape, but sure, yeah. So it's a +1, I ain't gonna argue about +1s. Cool.
Okay, it's 5 without a willpower. I'm just gonna roll that.
Oh, that's right. It's
It's overreaching by
a
1.
time spell. Always forget. Nothing.
I mean, it seems like fortune telling should be fate, but
Yep. Fate is luck and chance. time as you're
Yeah,
seeing
this is
into
what
the
is going to
future.
happen.
2 successes. And yeah, my question is if they keep looking at this, will it endanger us? I guess that's just a yes or no question, isn't it? Whatever.
Yes, but by taking the reach, I get to give you a more complex answer.
More of an explanation. And I imagine for her, this is going to be very weird because she's doing her standard pull a card. Does it say yes or no? And it says more in my head.
Awesome.
Which it basically comes down to if the Royal Society continues their investigation, you will be put in a position to protect or doom the town. The U translates in, high speech, however you want, in a very vague, is that singular or plural? And you're not sure.
Includes me.
It definitely includes you.
Yeah, I would just...
Well, I'm curious because this is a surprise. You get this surprise answer and you're all telepathically linked. Does it just kind of bounce out of your head into everybody else's?
Yeah, probably. Just because I normally just sort of know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am as surprised as everyone else.
Gisela has no filters. It's just like, oh, that was a yeah.
You see Cloak grit his teeth a little bit, at least a dream form, right? And he's like, even though he didn't mean it, I knew he was doing something dangerous.
It's entirely possible he doesn't know it's dangerous.
That's true.
He wouldn't be the first individual that unleashed a catastrophe unintentionally.
You're right.
See aforementioned all of human history.
But
Cloak,
we can
sorry, go ahead.
stop it.
We will stop it. Cloak turns to Isabel and says, Isabel, forgive this naive question. Are there spirits of the stars?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. I'd imagine that they would either be very large No, not either. Both very large and very far away.
Yeah, true, because at least you've observed every spirit has been near its thing.
Are there spirits of the night sky?
That I can probably tell you just, like, you've never seen anything like that. Because that gets more into Goche.
Yeah,
Only
out of character. I know.
Only when there is something happening in it.
I wonder if such a being exists, it would know something. Perhaps being closer to where this void would pass might be able to tell us something of it and what it means for the future.
Perhaps it is, I think, unlikely to find a spirit of nothing based on how they feed and whatnot.
It's 1846. We don't know what a vacuum is.
Okay. I'll think more on this.
It seems odd to me that there wouldn't be one. Like, I believe you when you say they're not, but like the sun and the moon are ever present, very big in stories, and why wouldn't they have a spirit?
The moon has a bunch of spirits.
Do you know that?
No.
Unfortunately,
That's
not
werewolf
in this
stuff.
chronicle. Yeah, actually, Mr. Not appearing in this chronicle, Luna. Yeah. But also no Helios either.
Yeah, I guess it would be like, those would be Goche, right?
Like night sky, talking about the night sky, things of that nature. Once it gets into actual discussion, yeah, that ends up being Goche.
Cloak definitely knows who he's going to ask questions about this. So, Cloak has one more question. He turns to Theo and he says, Theo, or I mean, he doesn't address you as Theo, he says, Madame Stokes, what am I saying? What is a void if not death?
That, but no, death isn't like that.
What is it like?
Like, it's not nothingness. It's not emptiness. There's all
Sentience
kinds of
life.
things. Life, that's just a transition. Death is as full of things as life is. They're different things, and they behave differently, and they act differently. But
I'm so glad Craig understands Moros.
There's this press X to doubt.
You died, fucker. You're done.
Y'all got a lot of wrong opinions in this stream.
That's what's fun.
Somebody's going to have to introduce Isabel to mushrooms and be like, all right, explain this shit.
Well,
and the fact that the stars come back suggests to me that this isn't something like that, because usually those sorts of transitions are one way. Like, once the soul is gone from the body, it's just gone. I mean, I suppose you can put another one back.
Goes the wisdom.
But once a living thing becomes dead, it's, I don't mean any disrespect or anything, but it's essentially just an object at that point. So it continues on after death as an object, and different things happen to it, and it erodes or decays, but it doesn't become alive again. So I don't know that this object that our friends are observing, or field, or whatever it is, would be a death phenomenon. I would expect stars to wink out and stay out if that were the case.
I mean, the antelope eats the grass, the lion eats the antelope. The lion becomes the grass. That was a Lion King reference.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like,
It was not in character. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Okay.
I was cool with it. It
But
was.
yeah, if they're coming back, then they're not probably not dying.
Then is it a shadow?
Zombie stars.
Are we? Don't mean to disrespect y'all sort of musings, but are we done here? Because I have gotten my fill of this.
You may leave anytime you like.
I mean, bear in mind,
How?
you are physically, like, this is like the things playing out in your head. Physically, you're just laying there, full control over your body. The only
I
spell
thought we were dreaming.
the only
but you can just
Brilliant.
decide to get out. And,
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is there
This
an
is just
induced meditative state of active dreaming?
I don't.
Yeah, we're not like asleep.
it's
I
like
also don't know that Isabel would know.
right. I appreciate that
Fair
Isabel's
enough.
like what and just
Yeah.
like moves her arms
What?
and goes, oh shit.
All right, bye.
Good day.
Now, bear in mind, she gets up, walks away, and still has these thoughts that she's going to continue hearing.
It doesn't get you out of the spell. Yeah.
you just can't answer us anymore.
Well, I mean, she can, but it's just
She could, yeah.
telepathy.
Oh, I guess, yeah, okay, she could, yeah.
She just doesn't have like the dream space walking around in.
Mhm.
Harry in the chat, all caps, cancel, stop, unsubscribe.
No,
Hashtag stop.
let me out.
I thought about, like, maybe you could pull understanding from... But, I mean, he doesn't really understand what he's doing anyway,
What do
by
you
the
mean?
sounds of it. Like, it sounds like he doesn't know any more than we do what this is or what it might be.
Oh.
So
Bear
it's
in
not like we
mind-
can yank that information out of him or something.
We don't
Brenna,
have the whole book.
Right, you've gotten 10 pages total of,
Hmm.
from what Rilla was writing down, easily like 200 something pages into this book. Because basically, you were pulling from the glimpses that Gisela had and using kind of perfected perfect recall. Actually, no, you did cast perfect recall. And so
Yeah.
pulling those exact copies of those pages that she saw.
So who actually does all the writing in the book?
Rilla.
Rella does. This book is where she is transcribing all of Mortimer's notes into a book.
So is it possible for you to recreate this process and pull the full book from her?
Yes, it is also possible.
I don't
that,
think she would sign up for that.
Well, I'm wondering, since we now have information that the town is at risk, if this might warrant one of those situations where we don't actually get somebody on board to do this.
I should tell you what I plan to do. I know where they sleep and I know where the book rests at night. Because I've been in the estate and I've seen it. I now intend to visit the estate again and flip through the book and see all of it, and then bring it back and reconstitute it for all of us. And we can peruse it at our leisure. If you'd prefer, I can help persuade Rilla to allow one of us to see more of the book. However, I think it would be more direct and efficient if we just took the knowledge ourselves.
If you can do that safely, I would think that's better than, because I don't think she's going to agree to let us see the whole thing, and I don't want to take it from her.
It's much easier if we're not caught with the book. And there's no way they'd know that we had seen all of its contents unless we disclose that information to them.
We're going to pause right there. So, because Isabel has left the mine at this point, where is she headed? As she has these nerds in the back of her head.
Just quickly, as far away as possible, hoping there's sort of a range on this.
Oh, I guess there is, eh?
No.
Not after you
No?
connected.
Okay.
Per
Not after it's
yeah,
connected,
it's
yeah.
per subject, not like everybody has telepathy in this area, which, you know, Jean-Paul may use in the future. Is like, hey, we can just get everybody conference called in, just everybody lay down here. But yeah, and just because we have now spent an hour discussing, let's figure out the next steps for you guys.
As it seems like Isabel is like becoming increasingly frustrated with Cloak says to, because he chose both the reaches when he established it so that people would have control. Isabel receives a focused communication from Cloak saying, as always, you have control of your mind. If you do not want to hear anything, stop hearing things. And it doesn't sound like brusque, it just sounds like explicit, like devoid of pleasantries, right? Not like rude, just, a flat affect.
Neutral.
Yes, yeah. Which, some people perceive as rude, but that's, of course, a subjective judgment, right?
Sure. It's either that or she goes and starts doing whiskey shots and you'll get some drunk thoughts. So.
Yeah, it's entirely up to her, right?
What makes a man go neutral? Yep. Yeah, she severs it in whatever way she can.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually do like that. So, I'm just turning this off. Yeah, because subjects are capable of both sending and receiving. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just turn it off if you want.
Yep.
As far as next steps go, I just have an aspiration that I've laid out here, and it's just be drawn into someone's affairs. And I was specifically thinking someone not in the Cabal.
Right. Yep. No, it's good.
Doesn't have to happen immediately, but I just
let's
have some drama or something. I don't know.
100%.
Seems good.
I am actually prepared for that. And that is, especially once you left, that was actually my next step. I need to go to the actual content page. Here we go. So we pick up and actually we have Discord if you guys want to try and fine tune your guys' plan while we sidestep over here real quick to, there we go. To our
you mean text space? Yeah, while you're working with Isabel? Sure.
Yep. It's one of the things that I realized we could all be better about. But yes, you get back to the tavern, where we haven't talked about her often because I tend to focus on the player characters. But Arcelia also works at the tavern. Arcelia, who is the wife to Juan Carlos, who is the over here.
Just what's his name, sister-in-law, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Juan Carlos is the farmer.
Right.
And so she now, especially because the bridge and all that, it's much easier for her to come back to work.
Right.
And she's at the tavern, kind of working because this is Sunday. So the tavern. Screw it, this ain't no dry county. Yep.
So after church.
That's very true. Yep. And they are basically, Arcelia is, kind of serving some folks and like sees you and it's like, oh my God, thank you. And like hands you like 3 beers, points at a table as she runs behind the counter and gets a couple more for another table. And it's that definite, like, she's been the only person here. And looking around, you realize, no, she really is the only person here. Like, some of the guys are in the back, but like serving up front, it's just her. Obviously, Theo isn't here. You're not here,
right.
And Madame Robert is not here, which is
interesting.
Not a thing. She would be on her deathbed and be sitting on top of like the stairs,
right.
At least giving orders or something.
How about like do I need to make a roll to try and get some info?
No.
Where she might be, or
you just go ahead and tell me what you're up to, and we'll decide if we need rolls after all.
Talking to Arcelia, like in little bits and pieces, as
passing
you do.
Conversation. Yeah. So it takes between now with double the workforce,
right.
You get things kind of caught back up.
Caught up.
Mm-hmm. And have that moment where you guys can sit and like, now that like that initial adrenaline of, oh my god, all these people, to, okay, hang on, I can breathe. And she has that kind of panicked, expression of an overworked waitress. And she kind of leans back against the counter and gives you like the side eye roll of like, oh my god, thank you for being here. No, I don't know where Madame Robert is. She's not upstairs. She's not in the back. She's nowhere here. And of course, once I walked in here and saw tables with men and women, like mostly men, but wanting drinks, I hopped to it and I thought Madame Robert would be here shortly. And I have been doing this and kind of looks out the windows and for an hour, 2, and I don't know. And they all said she stepped out for a moment. And that was 2.5 hours ago. And says, then now if you don't mind, I need a quick break. And she like.
I will send her a text to see what she
Welcome to 1846, and one of the many reasons why I was like, fuck it, we're not doing that. Same thing with my one shot. Was like, no, we're in San Francisco pre-cell phones.
Mm-hmm. How about... I mean, I think I just, like, give her a break long enough and then be like, well, do you need me to stay?
She gives you the panicked wide eyes of like, you're not about to leave, like really? Yeah, go ahead and roll presence plus probably persuasion.
Go
ahead.
I was thinking like politics.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, no, I'm not trying to abandon you.
Right.
But like, we should know where the person who runs our business is.
Sure. Not normally a
nice if we could
social
get paid.
skill, but yes. Because of, like, listen, guys, I worked at one restaurant for a little bit. Politics are a real thing in restaurants.
Even just like, who gets their fucking smoke break first? Manipulation is okay here?
I think so.
Specifically trying to like minimize her like panic and stuff.
Right. No. I'm not abandoning you. I'm just going to get backup. Hold down the fort.
Yeah. God damn.
5 successes. All right. Well, that's an exceptional success. Would you like to apply a condition to her or yourself?
Let's go with her.
Cool. Yeah, she has a like, oh, Isabel, my savior, kind of condition. We'll figure out exactly what that is.
And like a little bit of like self-importance. Like, no, like obviously you're the better. You're more capable of handling this, right?
Ooh, and really leans into that manipulation there.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. So
like, no, I wouldn't have made it 30 minutes by myself.
Right. Cool.
She definitely would.
Oh yeah, it would have been fun.
But we all know that.
Yeah. But yeah, she's like, okay, cool. I'll handle it. And if if it gets busy, real bad, I'll have Juan Carlos or one of the guys she knows go find you.
I mean, I shouldn't be gone. I mean,
right.
It's not that big of a town.
That's true. Yeah. And so you step back outside, and where do you start your hunt?
Start out the back door.
I love that you describe it as a hunt.
She's a Thyrsis.
Yes, very
yeah, back door, back area. You've got some of the various brewing equipment that's out here under like a covered space. But yeah, no signs of Madame Robert's delicate footsteps immediately
No.
jump out at you. It's been
Okay.
fairly dry and stuff like that, but like I said, immediate.
Right. How about... Oh, that's a 2-dot spell, isn't it?
Oh, for life.
For forces.
Oh,
Let's just start with some survival.
mm-hmm.
Like just looking for her. She's got a fairly... I would imagine that she's got fancier feet than most people in town.
Yep.
And rather distinctive sort of footsteps and stuff.
Mhm.
So
Wits, I think.
yeah, sounds good.
2 successes.
2 successes.
There's, compared to a lot of the, we'll say flatter boots
Mhm.
and things that, she definitely has, attire with heels. And, especially when it's not like muddy and mucky out and stuff like that. And it takes you a minute or two to find, but it's just, dirt out here. So definitely leaves impressions in the dirt. And you can find us like, oh, okay, yeah, no, here she was. And can follow that back basically towards town and find wheel tracks where it stops. Basically, and it looks like she went behind some homes and some of the spots that are fenced and stuff like that and around, and then found some kind of wheeled vehicle. And those much easier to track and lead up towards Enright's place.
Mm. Yeah, I'll head up that way.
Cool. And real quick, jumping back over and having reviewed the Discord chat, it looks like just Cloak going to sneak in, or did I miss somebody?
You missed
Oh,
one
no.
point where Greg
Yeah.
suggested
Go ahead.
that Theo would enjoy it if also protected by incognito presence.
Heck yeah. Because
Kiesel's not going. I'm just going to give them a.
a little help. And yeah, because I saw that, I was like, oh, hang on, this might cross paths. Because when are you guys planning to do this?
So
Finish the conversation, cut off the telepathy, and then go?
I figure, we could go now, but Cloak remembers it being in a specific place at night when they're asleep. So he's assuming that would be the best time to go.
Okay, cool.
But,
All right, so, yeah,
out of character, I should say, he doesn't have a family, right? Other than the Maroons, right? Which are a family. But
Mhm.
he doesn't have children or parents or a partner that he has to attend to. So if Theo, for example, who wants to come, says, I'm down to come, but I can't come in the middle of the night like you did before, then he could be persuaded to go at a different time and try and find it. He just thinks in the middle of the night works because we need to read through the book. So you need at least a little bit of time to flip through it.
Yeah, it needs to be at a time when you can get it.
Exactly.
Cool. So night it is then.
Cool.
Unless Theo has, pressing to not go in the evening or anything.
No.
Okay, cool. Just making sure we're all on board. So yes, Isabel continues her hunt up. Well, at this point, it's less of a hunt and just guess the tracks they lead up to. Oh yes, and
I got a
place.
pretty good idea
Yeah.
here.
And make your way up to the Enright Manor. And of course, this being actual daylight hours, there are a couple. I almost said mercenaries, but some of the Enright's
His boys.
his boys, yeah. Some who are lounging and very typical Western, leaned back under the awning of a porch, enjoying the breeze and the shade, and watching you approach. And most of these guys you've seen at the tavern and stuff like that. And generally speaking, not problematic. We're not leaning into
Right.
bad tropes or anything like that. But
Right.
they definitely notice you approaching, kind of look over, and evening, Isabella. Isabel. I don't know why I still keep trying to put that A on there.
Hello.
What brings you up this way? And kind of looking over to the stable where your horse is, and they're used to seeing you go.
Oh, Madame Robert happened to, well, go missing seems dramatic, but, was not in the tavern. Left poor,
Arcelia.
I lost her name. Arcelia, all by herself. I was wondering maybe if she'd come up this way? She wasn't in town anywhere.
The two of them kind of exchange looks and kind of, wolfish grins, and we might have seen her
Oh?
with the scientist.
Oh. Yes, they have been getting along well.
Yeah. Real well. We're outside.
Scandalous.
Yeah. And like
you have to tell Theo about this.
and the two of them they're grown adults, and we're gonna laugh about this, but they're also definitely they're on the older side compared to
Right.
all of them, and it's just like, okay, that's a thing, sure, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, and
I mean, I get it.
yep, yeah, Mr. Enright's down at the mine with Ike, and yeah, nobody's inside. Except
Nobody's inside the house.
Miss
All right, well, thank you.
Robert and and, offer you like a canteen of water. You good?
Yeah, a little sip and I'll head back down the hill.
We'll let her know that you were looking for her, or okay.
I'll broach that subject myself.
Yep, and and there is definite suggestion and comments from them that basically suggest that they thought that Mortimer and Madame Robert definitely thought the whole house was empty, and so these two guys should not be privy to what is going on inside.
Right.
Yeah. And so you make your way back down the short little hike and go back to meet Arcelia, who is...
Yep, and just walk in behind the bar and just start polishing a glass.
Nope, didn't find her.
Yeah, but do you give Arcelia anything, or is it just like, nope, couldn't find her, I'm here to help?
I'm not a gossip.
Right. But Arcelia
Right
looks
now.
right. Yeah, I was to say Arcelia is looking at you, but that's the thing. Do you also have that the Cheshire grin of didn't find her?
No.
Okay.
No, she definitely lies.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I mean, yeah, it's just very much I
Did a quick little look, couldn't find her, came back to help you out. Cool.
I mean, short of getting down on the ground and sniffing out tracks, I don't think I could have, figured out where she was.
It's true, because, you being a decent tracker is probably not known at all.
Not known at all. Yeah.
Cool. We cut over to, I imagine the other three of you kind of parting ways, kind of leaving the mine, having made up a plan. And because we're headed towards that break time, we can go ahead and throw together the spells real quick, unless there's any
Cool.
other prep beforehand.
I don't think so.
Cool. Oh, Theo was ready. And just because, not everybody could read our Discord, go ahead and walk through what you guys are casting and stuff like that.
Of course.
I have one question. Can I, with the advanced reach, can I get 2 items out of shadow crafting, or do
No,
I have to do this
because
both
each
twice?
one is any
That's fine.
distinct item.
So we're doing that twice then.
Okay.
We're gonna cast a cloak, actually cut a cloak out of shadow to give us a +2 bonus to stealth.
Hell yeah. And so 1 overreach. And And doop. Nothing happens. So go ahead and roll your 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 dice. Cool. And then I will roll another. This will be 2 reach because Paradox once and an additional spell. Wait. Yeah. So 3 total. Are you spending any mana on this, by the way?
Yeah, I'll throw a couple at it.
Couple being literally 2?
Yep.
Cool. Bum bum. Roll that wisdom.
Oh, we're 8, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Cool. 1 little bashing wound, and then roll your 9 dice again, which of course will also cost you another willpower. Cool.
2 successes.
So yeah, just grabbing. I imagine some mine shadow, right? Just drawing out these just jet black cloaks that just hang. I imagine like the wind doesn't even move them. They just kind of hang.
And they don't cast shadows on their own. They're just like a hole in the night.
Cool.
Cool. Any
of you who have read Wheel of Time? You thinking what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, yep, okay, moving on. Awesome, though. Throw those over and just like, okay, well, these kind of stand out right now, but kind of bundle them up. And sorry, I just realized, I can answer that question for myself. Go ahead.
And just for story beat, like she's always like felt the shadows since her awakening and stuff, but this is the first time she's actually like pulled something out of shadow.
Right. Cool. Yeah, because there's instant and advanced duration were your 2 reaches, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And
so her response was like, it worked.
It was just casual. Cool. And then Ash has got another spell queued up with 2 overreach. And because you're not concentrating on anything, you don't have another thing in spell control. Cool.
No.
And
for yantras for this, I'm effectively casting red light, green light, but that is not. I don't know. Basically, in my head, it's still a luck spell.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I'm giving you good timing.
Okay.
But
cool.
I mean, they're kind of the same to me. I don't know.
Right. No, I get it.
But yeah. I was going to, for yantras, I'm going to give Cloak a lucky coin. And I was going to ask do either of you have pocket watch? I think if anyone does, it might be Theo, but
yeah.
I'm going to take it. Can I see it?
Okay, what are you going to do with it?
Magic.
Make it lucky.
Alright, as long as nothing's going to happen to it, and she'll hand over her deceased husband's pocket watch. It's just a little tiny thing.
I'm going to take it and probably just wind it. And then hand it back to you.
Okay.
And what spell are you effectively is this something that you're improvising, or are you basing this off?
It's red light, green light, basically.
Oh, the time one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is I'm not. Gisela wouldn't be thinking this is a time spell, but it is.
Yeah, legitimately, it is actually more of a fate thing for the effect, but I like this, and especially effectively you're handicapping yourself, so I'm not going to complain about you using the time arcana. So cool. And the reach is for instant duration and
scale to cover them both.
Sure. Okay. All right. So 3, 4, 5. doesn't
None.
take hold. Which I think is kind of appropriate. It's like, I'm trying to use time to do this, and, it's not quite right for whatever reason.
I mean, she was doing a time spell at the time.
Yeah.
But specifically,
She's trying to stretch it in to cover a fate. So that's what Drew was getting at.
right, and because notably, specifically, that I don't think time 1 has enough oomph to actually give you bonus potency to stealth or anything like that. But I get green light, red light as is it cast positive that you find elevators, taxis arrive just as they need them.
Right.
So actually, I guess
It's good timing. It was more like when you're trying to go through the place, you won't cross paths with other people. Or
I mean, the spell would do what the spell does as written.
Yeah, that's
she
true.
Just fucked up the imago or something.
And no, you're right. I think I was getting caught up in the idea of this is going to give you specific dice bonuses. But I mean, this is more of a narrative thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I guess that's fair. Yeah. But going back to the spell itself, do you try again? Because again, you have a little bit of time. Yeah, and we're rolling this now. This could be before you guys leave in the middle of the night.
yeah, I want to try it again.
All right, make that 4 dice. And if you want, you can throw willpower on top of it, even though you're re-rolling air quotes. There we go.
One success. I did spend the willpower.
With that.
And it is the paradox.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So that would actually be 3 paradox. 1 success. Go ahead and roll your wisdom. It's kind of amused me. I've been watching and waiting for an active hubris of you guys using magic for something you could do mundanely. But it actually really hasn't come up yet.
I got an 8.
Oh, yes, you did. Okay. I was looking at the 25 and was very confused for a second. Yep.
25 successes.
25 successes. Perfect wisdom. And with that, Gisela ascends, and we won't see her. No. Fabulous. So armed with... because we have incognito presence as well. Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah, we have two
as
spells. I need to cast telepathy and incognito presence. And the reason why I have to cast telepathy again is because I only... my spell factor was for one scene, so I thought about keeping it up from that point, but I think I should probably have to cast it again. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna try.
And I did take my wound.
Try first without a willpower.
instant and the
Oh, wait a minute.
restricted telepathy.
I'm sorry. I need, that's wrong. That needs to be adjusted. I am going to spend a willpower, and I need to adjust scale. Because I need to include Theo in it. And I'm not going to cast advanced scale. So that'll be a net +1.
Gotcha. So
Cool. 7 dice.
2 successes.
Telepathy's up. Time for incognito presence. So this will be the same. I just have to spend a mana.
And
Same with next reach.
2 dot. Yeah. And are you using your
same
assault?
dice pool? Yes.
Cool. So just chance die. Nothing.
So let's roll up 7 more dice. Cool.
That 1 bare success, but enough.
Let me get that other willpower out.
All right. And with that, so armed and enchanted, stealth squad Jean-Paul and Theo prepare to break into Enright's Manor for the second time for Jean-Paul. And with we'll also pick up with Isabel and see what kind of tavern drama, which if anybody dares talk smack about the tavern drama, you're going to be in for a bad time, because I definitely plan to be throwing more sleeper drama into this now that they're starting to get like the mage drama has.
We did an hour of bullshit.
It's true,
mage
yeah.
bullshit. It's time for some people.
Yeah, but yeah, because
Mage bullshit and Mage the Awakening.
how dare you? But well, and notably, this is one of those things that in this chronicle, like I really wanted to, actually harp on the sleeper side of things. So, and then
we're all here for it.
Yeah, Ash, if Gisela is up to any shenanigans tonight as well, we'll have to talk about that on the break. So we'll be right back, Twitch guys, YouTube guys. You probably haven't heard any of this. We'll be right back. Yes, evening. Actually, I'm gonna jump back over here to Conca because we know exactly what day it is.
Yes, we do. In 2 weeks.
May 12th. That's after the 2-week skip. And so, yeah, we pick up the night of May 12th. And we have Jean-Paul and Theo cloaked in multiple ways. At this point, as the incognito presence settles over the two of you, can't even see each other. But have telepathy
or compelled to look
share
away from
thoughts.
each other.
Yep. And then we have Isabel doing tavern stuff. At this point, especially as we're getting into the evening, Madame Robert has returned, and Arcelia is there and working. And what is Gisela's plan for the evening? Because we didn't clarify that.
I was going to go for a walk.
Yes, we did discuss that earlier. Fabulous. Cool. So yeah, oh man. Yes, you guys
Three-way party split.
You guys think split the party in D&D is bad. All right, cool. No, I like this. So yeah, I'm going to try what I've been wanting to try for a while. Basically, we're going to go from one action in one group to another action in another group, and so we're going to keep this moving, and we're going to try and see if Drew's brain can hold this all in all at once.
Theoretically, we should get simultaneous revelations,
Right.
and or denouements from everyone.
So cool. But yeah, we will pick up with the Enright Manor. I imagine you guys, met up, cast a couple spells, and then made the trek up. That way you weren't seen arriving or going up to Enright Manor. The other thing I wanted to clarify, just for cosmetic reasons, because again, with incognito presence, nobody even sees you guys. But the cloaks, are they mantles just off the shoulders, or are they the full hood?
Full hood.
Yeah, cool. So yes, two shadowy figures making their way up towards the manor. As sun has set, and many folks are kind of winding down for the evening, and basically in through the front door.
Yeah. We can take the same route we did before. Or that Cloak did before.
Right. And so, yeah, walking in, you also know the bedroom, and making your way up into that third floor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finding the, Mortimer's space. But notably, actually, how late in the evening do you guys go? Because I realize we have these three different scenes, but they're not necessarily contemporaneous.
Cloak would want to go the same time you went last time, when everyone's asleep. The book is
So
beside
well
them
into
when
the
they-
evening.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, so when you guys arrive, there are no lights on. You have a little bit. Ooh, actually, hang on. Let me go over to the calendar. What's the moon like today? Actually, the full moon, the new moon, was at this point, 2 nights ago. Because it is technically crossing into Monday morning.
So just a little sliver.
Yep. So yeah, very, very little light outside. And yes, you can make your way to, Mortimer's and Jules' room. And yeah, the book is there, sitting with a few other books.
Great. So let's see. I'm assuming there's not enough light in here to read by, right?
Nope. Not without
That's what I
lighting. There are a couple candles, but yeah, nothing's lit.
Okay. So what Cloak would suggest to actually is just do it in character. Considering we have telepathy. We're there, Cloak says to Theo. I remember there's an unoccupied room. I think if we take the book to the closet, light a candle, and then flip through it there.
Just
might not be
squeeze his arm for affirmative.
So yeah, grab the book and
Cool.
abscond away with it. All right. We jump over to let's jump over to oh my god, too many names. Gisela. And because I know you need to start with a spell. And while she's pulling that up, she is casting Sacred Geometry to spot ley lines and magical shenanigans.
Spot Layla, she's over there.
Wrong, Layla. Ley lines.
And I have exactly 1 willpower left, so hopefully
Nice.
this works. I realized that, I didn't do the whole revelation for the Gnosis thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in my head, it was happening sort of now, I guess.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
But earlier I was rolling with it because I already set the stats. But
That's fine.
um,
I also made you spend an extra reach for control, so fair.
but yeah, after having gone through this whole mental mind link up dream sharing thing we just did, just sort of strongly reflecting on different forms and shapes of magic and what everyone has said. And trying to think how you learn crime. I feel like it is just sort of like a mental breakthrough. I am trying to see magic, enforce your will upon it, make it happen.
Yeah, the raw literally meta level of how does this all work?
Yeah, and basically I'm just trying to see it. And that is,
I really like
in
that.
my mind, going to do this spell.
Like that.
I'm going to do a template.
And while you are writing that up, I will remind you, and just that way we can get all fluffy with this, because you see ley lines and nodes depending on your path and personal nimbus. So how does Gisela see these ley lines and stuff like that? If she were to see one.
I gotta do the spell. I am
That's
reaching by 1.
Dun dun dun.
And my yantra was gonna be my seeing stone.
Sure.
Because, of course it is.
Yep. Nothing with the paradox. Oh no! No, you do
7 dice, no successes. I'm doing great tonight.
And that types out on your willpower.
No more willpower. I can try it again at a -1, but that'll be it.
Except
3 dice.
your destiny applies. So we'll jump back over here to this merit. Because I was very pleased when you started to do this. Yes, whenever you spend willpower to avoid the doom, you add 2 blah 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 instead of 3 dice. However, whenever you spend willpower on an action that will further the doom, but the roll fails, you immediately regain the spent willpower.
Okay. And I suppose I don't know why.
Nope. It's like, oh, that wasn't quite as draining.
Huh. Okay, well, I guess I'll try again.
Sure. Go ahead and roll 6. I will roll the 2 paradox. Cool. And go ahead and roll your wisdom real quick. We'll see about that bashing wound. What's going to be real fun is if you get to meet abyssal conditions tonight at the same time.
Yeah, how do I get this to roll so that it doesn't add them all?
Oh, you can just do a spell roll. Because it's still the same thing. It's 8d10.
Okay, fair.
Cool, no problem. Yeah, another little bashing wound as, yes, now tell us what ley lines look to for you. And he said it's, your path and your nimbus. So this is always going to be a very personal thing.
I feel like they're going to look like... I don't know, because I'm seeing everything as parts of a big interwoven tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
So these are threads in the tapestry. They're just... I imagine they look magical.
Sure. Yeah, and perhaps, especially the tapestry vibes look like it's drawing towards a spindle, just being drawn along, or pieces being drawn by a loom or something very fabric-y. Don't know terms, but yes. Cool. And yes, immediately, where are you casting this at?
Basically as I'm leaving the mine.
Oh, okay, so this is that afternoon. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mentally reconfiguring. Cool. Yeah, so if there are no ley lines or nodes within sensory range, i.e. what you can see, unless you have spells to enhance that sensory range, the subject feels a tugging sensation towards the nearest ley line or node. So yes, this immediate looking around and not really seeing anything immediately near you, but you feel drawn towards the river.
Okay. I'm basically just going to follow where it's pulling me.
Gotcha. Yeah, the drawing sensation. And yeah, so you make your way through town, and it's the afternoon. Possibly at this point now actually see Isabel leave. So, where's she going? Well, actually, probably not, because she'd be around back. Anyways, and yeah, find yourself drawn down towards the river, not towards the bridge, but down to the riverbanks themselves. And probably kind of atop the riverbank and looking down, you can see through the Purgatorio River this, I don't think of it as this taut line, but this kind of waving fabric, bit of, not necessarily thread, but an actual woven bit of fabric moving through and beneath the water. And it's moving, literally up and down the river. And one could follow it, basically. It would be downriver, away from civilization, so to speak, and farther into the territory.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It's now that I have seen this, I'm going to try to see where it goes.
Cool. All right. And so, yeah, you begin hoofing it. Out of curiosity, what kind of supplies and or time limit are you putting on yourself?
I mean, if it starts getting... If it starts getting dark, but it really depends on how far away I want. I want to be, back home before it's too dark.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, you start kind of hoofing along. We cut over to Isabel, in the tavern with Arcelia. At this point, Madame Robert has been back, and things kind of settle into their normal, I almost said rotation, but yeah, just kind of the normal flow of a night and stuff like that. Madame Robert has arrived with no specific significance or anything. She just comes back in through, the back, and, greets you, having not seen you today, and, starts, basically holding court, for lack of a better term, Madame Robert doing Madame Robert things and serving people and talking with them and encouraging you to go play a couple times and, things of that nature. And the evening kind of passes unless you need to jump in. And basically we pick up with, closing time.
Mm-hmm. I think, it's like after Arcelia leaves. Like,
okay.
Very much like the two of us going upstairs to go to bed sort of thing.
Oh, okay,
like,
cool. Then I will add in a quick little note that Arcelia was not mad at Madame Robert, but there's definitely some lingering tension of like what gives, especially when there's no explanation provided. And so the lights are dimmed, or actually off. What were we getting?
Yeah, dying embers in the hearth and stuff.
Right.
Madam,
Yeah, she stops,
How
probably.
to phrase this? And I think Isabel's like trying to find the right polite words, and then she just goes, "Nope," and just turns it on its head. Goes, "Did you have fun this afternoon?"
And cut to Madame Robert and this nice, dressing down,
prim and
dressing
proper.
Gown. Yeah, prepared for the evening. Kind of looks over at you like quizzical at first, and then kind of seeing your expression, going, "What do you know, girl?" And
I suppose he's handsome enough.
And she,
a little old for my taste, but
Mortimer. But how does she actually respond to this? I think she be careful there. You're talking about age, but Mortimer is a fine gentleman, and I had a lovely time having tea with an English gentleman.
An upstanding gentleman all afternoon, right?
Which I think, like, there's this moment, and just like she wavers, and then just like the schoolgirlist giggle, right? And she says, "An absolute gentleman." And then like she wants to ask questions, but of course knows that if she asks questions that you will probably also ask questions, and she's like debating how to move forward.
Poor Arcelia here had quite an afternoon all by herself.
I do think I owe her a bit of an apology. Well, maybe
perhaps not an explanation.
Exactly. But, yes.
Yeah. But when I couldn't find you in town, thought perhaps you had business with Mr. Enright, and a couple of his gentlemen were outside on the front porch.
And that's when the eyes go wide, the blush just hits, peaks of, and, through the makeup, right? And then she goes, "Excuse me, what?"
Anyways, I thought it best to just turn back around and come here and entertain here, as is my employment. But I figured, we ladies have our reputations to care for, and you should be forewarned and forearmed that I am not the only one that made this observation.
I appreciate your discretion, and I will speak with the. And I imagine you tell her who the guys were. Yeah, and she's like, "I will ensure that they remain silent."
A couple drinks on the house next time.
Yeah. And good night, Isabel. And I imagine somewhere in there, because I meant to basically confirm that Arcelia has no idea, and that you had kept. So we cut back later that evening. Actually, pretty close to at this point now, with Jean-Paul and Theo in a small closet with like a candle leaning over this huge book, which for both of you is kind of bizarre because spotting where each other is impossible. However, spotting this book that I imagine Jean-Paul is holding and this candle that's unlit until you guys get into the closet is a little bit more, conceivable. But handling the book and removing it from the location, I do need a stealth check from whoever is stealth check. I need a dexterity and stealth roll from whoever is removing the book.
Can they get a bonus for the red light, green light timing?
I am handling that narratively. I have a couple of things but yes, there I do have that in mind for a thing. But I should actually slight retcon, not actually in the closet yet because stealth check.
Sure, sounds good.
I think that's all you.
All right,
and then
I'll do it.
I believe we determined that the cloak, the shadow cloak, is a +2.
Cool. Hold it. Get to the Kardashian. Yeah.
But I imagine this is kind of a pick the book up and slide it beneath the cloak. Beneath Cloak's
That sounds
cloak.
good. Yay.
Cloaks himself with the cloak.
We got +2, +3, 5. Yay.
You don't have any dots in stealth?
Nope.
Interesting. I thought with your background you did the one or so. Okay, awesome though.
Yeah,
Plenty of
the
bonuses
part
there.
of the background was people know he's coming. It's always
It's just the raw
foreannounced.
intimidation.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's like you do something wrong, you know the boogeymen are going to come for you, so they don't sneak up in the middle of the night. They kidnap people, but it's not a hidden thing.
So you really were the Terminator. Got it. no subtlety. We're coming, knocking on the door. Gotcha. But
yeah,
yes,
that's
one
right.
success.
Exactly.
So yes, slide that through and into your the folds of your cloak, and together the two of you kind of step away. Again, telepathy helping a lot, and directions, and into the closet, lighting a candle because I'm sure somebody has matches, and you're not actually attempting to read the book. If I remember correctly, it's looking at the individual pages.
Yes,
Cool.
getting memories of having seen it.
Right. This is a big book, and I'm definitely not okay with just flip, counting. There's definitely I'm looking at this page, I'm looking at this page kind of thing. A very eidetic memory wherein you need to read, air quotes, the thing. Yep. So that is definitely going to be a little bit. And
That's what I assumed.
so we, few minutes pass by, when you guys can hear shuffling, outside down the hallway, and then like doors creaking open. And I imagine you guys with the candle lit are in the closet with the door shut. But yes,
Sure.
you can definitely hear creaking and moving, because let's be honest, it's a home built in 1846. It's not it's sturdy. It's just not, modern concrete and such.
Trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
Arguably, houses are at their quietest when they're freshly built. So,
That's fair.
but if people have shoes on or anything, then yeah.
Yeah, definitely footsteps and such. And you will, to further clarify, you would definitely know that your candlelight is going to be visible beneath the closet door.
Okay. Well, what if we shade, or what if we shroud the candle flame in the cloaks of shadow?
Mhm.
Which, of all things, probably do not catch fire.
Yeah, I don't think they're flammable.
I like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, not even. I was like, okay, we're gonna roll to be. No, nah, fuck it. Yeah. Magic cloak. Go.
Awesome.
Cool. So yeah, you guys are able to continue flipping through pages. So we jump back to Ash and Gisela's little journey along the river, and walking alongside it for a little bit, can definitely see that it is not a literal straight line, but is flowing along the river naturally, and can find after probably about an hour, find a spot where it intersects with an uplift of rock and craggy stuff, and that seems to be moving parallel. Future tense to us, we would recognize is probably some at least minor fault line where Earth has kind of moved and manipulated against each other, and there's a offshoot of the water that leads down, and while the main majority of the water is moving along the river, there's some of it that is just kind of trickled off and over time has worn down into rock and stone, and leads down into from your perspective a child-sized hole, something that one could get down and crawl into, and where the fabric before was visible within the river, now looks like the kind of large sheet has kind of rolled up tight and taut, and is being pulled far more tautly, and drawn down through the water and down into that rock. Mechanically, this will be a little bit of a scramble. You'll probably be like hands and knees onto belly in the dark, down into a small cavern that you have. Yeah, I am personally claustrophobic, and I do not like describing this.
Don't do this IRL.
No, seriously. The only thing holding me off from wanting to do this is that I don't have any way to see.
Correct.
Like, I don't have a candle or anything.
Yeah.
This might be I need to come back with supplies, because I want to go in there. But I don't have a light or anything, so.
And unlike Weird, we are not yet quite sure. I'll find a flashlight down there. It'll be fine. Cool.
That would be a hell of a miracle.
But yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so it's Gisela. Names. Can't wait for you guys to have shadow names that will be a little bit more dramatically different. But yeah, the mental pinpoint of this, and it's fairly, like, now that you have followed this is actually very easy to find. You just follow the river for a little bit, and turning back towards town, you cannot quite see town. Well, actually, no, you can probably actually see town from here.
I'm like 3 miles away. Been walking for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's not, so far that it's not visible. That said, you are probably not visible to anybody in town. But yeah, you can look back, kind of see Enright's house up on the ridge and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely could get back here without necessarily needing this spell. And so basically head back.
I'm gonna head on back because I'm not adequately equipped for this, but I'm definitely coming back here.
Sure. So this is pre. I can do whatever I want because I'm an acanthus. Later they realize, oh yeah, this bullshit just works out every time. Cool. So yeah, making that trek back.
I'm feeling a little attacked here. Just
saying. Now it's not
I've got
just
no forces.
That's true. Yeah. And no, it's definitely not a weird thing. It's all acanthus. As having spoken with,
there could be phosphorus moss down there. Who knows?
I also have pessimistic as my
that's
vice.
True. That is your vice.
So
actually, take a point of willpower, because this is literally leaning on your vice. Add no challenge to yourself. Fuck it, it's just not worth it. That's dangerous. I'm not doing it. Take that willpower. Cool. And actually, do we need to finish anything with Isabel that night? Okay. Actually, we can continue if we want more of the drama in the following morning or afternoon, probably. Because fortunately, like this is also the reason I want to include this drama. This drama, because it doesn't link up to anybody else really. Like it can happen whenever, and we can just weave it in. Mm-hmm. It's terrific. But yeah, so there is the definite like following afternoon as Arcelia arrives. You know, because you and Madame Robert do a lot of, I imagine, a lot of the chore type stuff and prep stuff. And Arcelia, she's a mother and a homesteader and takes care of things that basically definitely have the sense that she and Juan Carlos.
She helps. Oh, she helps, but we work here.
Right. And
like we run the place, but she.
That's very true. Yeah, she is just a waitress as opposed to the two of you. But yeah, during the day, Juan Carlos works the fields. She takes care of the kids, and then evening he rests and plays with the kids. And she comes here and earns some extra coin, and gets to be sociable with adults because they have like 6 kids. Anyways,
that's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're a homesteader, yep.
Yeah.
There's our labor force.
Need somebody to work the farm.
Yep. So, when she arrives, there's not there's no coldness to her, but again, she's kind of eyeing up Madame Robert, and, Madame Robert kind of pulls her to the side before everything gets too busy. And they sit, at the far end of the bar, and they have a quiet little conversation, and this nod back and forth, and do you eavesdrop? To put it another way, this will require a stealth roll.
Would it?
Or, well, because
you can read lips, can't you?
Ooh, can you?
Huh?
I thought that was a thing you could do.
As we discovered that Ash knows Chris's character sheet better. No.
You thought it's a thing that Isabel could do, or a thing that a person could do?
Oh, it was a thing that Isabel could do.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
But that sounds new to me.
Yeah, stealth or socialize. The idea being, it's not hard to eavesdrop, it's the not getting caught in the process.
Well, how about something along the lines of tune in from Forces 1?
Ooh, okay.
So, because there is control sound at 2 dots where you're like amplifying it so you can actually hear it, but I don't think I'm controlling it so much as like just tweaking it a little bit.
I'm okay with that.
Compelling, maybe? Or, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because there's like influence heat, where if it's already there, you can sort of just
nudge it up,
guide it along a little bit.
Compelling the sound into your ear.
Right. Instant duration.
Oh, actually, that's a good one from Griffin. Actually, just tuning everybody else out. So that,
yeah.
But yeah, regardless, it'll be a 1-dot forces spell, so we can go off that. And a little bit of overreach. A whole 1 success on that paradox. Not a problem. And then roll your 2, 4, 7.
Cool. Yeah, and Imago wise, because I'm using my flute or whatever, and I like that. Kind of playing off the similar kind of thing to what I did in the mine, where you're like creating like interference essentially.
Oh,
And so like playing a little tune and having it just sort of make all the rest of the sound in the area not matter to me.
I like that.
Because I'm not actually controlling it, right?
Right.
It's just...
It's the opposite of tune in.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
3 successes.
And yeah, just that the magical lean in, and yeah, basically, you get Madame Robert, one of the few times you've ever heard her actually apologize. But yeah, she basically explains to Arcelia that she had come across Mortimer and Bethune and was chatting with him, and we're talking and just got swept up into conversation, and then invited me up to see some of his equipment at the mansion, and then just completely lost track of time, and she apologizes profusely, and promises won't happen again. I'll make sure that somebody else is here so you're not by yourself, because like you said, she helps here,
Right.
but is not nearly as comfortable the way you or Madame Robert are.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, and Arcelia understands, okay, well, thank you. I just, this is just for me, this is just nice and relaxing work, to be, with these people and stuff like that, especially, from her perspective, because all these people are people they know. You're not serving
Right.
strangers here. So,
Right.
yeah. So, and there's a little, conversation. Okay, everything's good. And then kind of, break away and, back to things as normal, just that normal kind of apology kind of thing. At the end of this scene, Chris, I need you to roll an act of hubris.
Yep.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
I thought that might be the case. I wasn't going to bring it up, but
And I believe
this would be a 5 dot, right?
it's going to be a 5 dot. And let's see here. Vice, virtue, or obsessions apply.
This is because you could have eavesdropped mundanely.
Correct.
It's theoretically possible to have eavesdropped mundanely. Isabel would not be able to. I have an argument for my virtue applying for faithful, in that I am actively trying to make sure that nothing's going wrong in my home, and for Madame Robert especially. This whole thing was definitely like a 2 sides of a coin for my virtue and vice. Like, it could have been manipulative and I could have gotten something out of this, but it very much like from the get-go was like, hey, just so you know, like,
yeah, I get that. You could have played it another way. In this case, you're trying to keep the peace, take care of everybody, and
right.
yeah, I'm cool with that. I mean, it's already 5 dots.
Okay.
Sure, make it 6 dice.
don't say that. How many rolls has Ash failed tonight on 6 or 7 die?
How many varieties of acts of
3
hubris?
successes.
Cool. So success. She does not lose wisdom, and of course, you take an arcane beat.
Hooray!
You've learned something.
And specifically, and we'll come. We'll cut back to Chris here in a minute. But I'm kind of curious. What do you think Isabel is thinking in terms of that feel afterwards? As she kind of, because it's the act of hubris and the looking back on it, and what she thinks about that feeling that she gets, the act of hubris and stuff. But we cut back to the previous night with Cloak and Jean-Paul. Refuse to call him Cloak until he becomes, that's the shadow name. But Jean-Paul and Theo in the cloak closet, and looking over these books, and just page, and now you can definitely hear like a little bit of hushed conversation outside, and what had been one body out there. Chris, please don't die. Okay. What had been one body has now become two, and conversation between them, and more active movement outside.
Do we recognize the voices?
They're two masculine voices, but whose voices you're not sure. They're definitely it's low whisper. It's middle of the night, and yeah.
Okay.
Do we have a sense that they're right outside the door, or are they just in the corridor?
Yeah. They're the corridor, and my imagining of this being a little, closet that's right next to a lot of these bedrooms.
So two people came out, and then they started whispering to each other in the corridor.
To give the full timeline, one set of footsteps outside moving, and then became two sets of footprints, and more like whispered conversations, and then more frantic movement.
I'm gonna give Mr. Broussard's arm a squeeze as a warning, and then I'm just gonna slowly crack the door.
You do have telepathy.
Oh, right. I forgot that. I'm gonna crack the door so we can hear anyway.
All right.
Okay.
I suspect they won't remember if they see us.
And actually, backtracking just a little bit, did Cloak think of this imago the same way before, that pure intimidation and don't
that
dare
mantle.
remember me?
That's how he thinks of it. That mantle expands into some encompassing force of rejection of attention.
Cool. You crack open.
Sort of metaphysical. Are you looking at me? Are you looking at
exactly.
me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an amplifying air of menace in magical ways.
Sorry, there's a fly who's attacking me.
The
door is.
I can help you with that.
The door is open, just that little crack, and then a little bit more, and you can hear. I don't think if Cloak is back there with the book and the candle, probably wouldn't be able to hear over there. But with Theo kind of leaning out and kind of ear to the crack, definitely tell it's Jules and Mortimer, which again you can telepathy relay. So, but and no, I definitely put it on my side table. That's where I always put it. Well, sir, I don't know what to tell you. It's not there. Where would it have gone?
So if Cloak hears this, he says to Theo, kind of like using why are they like this?
For a warning we missed? No alarm?
Well, how far are we into the book?
Oh, you're definitely nearing the end. Because, It takes you, a second to look through like 2 or 3 pages at a time.
Great.
2 to 4 pages at a time.
Yeah, I figured I'd ask because you're the arbiter of both the actual length of the book and how much time it takes to get through it. So,
Right.
All right. So knowing that
definitely
Cloak says,
nearing the end.
Okay, cool. Knowing that Cloak says, once we're done, we'll just walk and put it back. They won't pay attention and they won't remember.
Okay.
Cool. Go ahead and roll a stealth check. Yep.
Cool. Same thing as before.
Mhm.
Great. Makes sense.
And this is where that red light, green light is going to come in handy.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
With a +2 bonus?
That is.
Same bonus.
And I'm fine with just one of you rolling, whoever's the more apt at it.
Cool. Theo actually would be. Theo was at one more die if she spends a willpower.
There we
No
go.
willpower.
There we go. How about that? Lucky you.
Yeah, so Theo just like it when I think, Jean-Paul hands it off. We have a moment of a football play here. Handoff.
Yeah.
And, basically, because this is where the red light, green light is. Jules is basically, Mortimer, is in the doorway as Jules is kind of going through every spot. Mortimer has, the nightgown on, and his hair is just kind of every which way and looks frantic. Eyes are wide in the my life, and small little Theo just kind of right.
Ooh, I have a suggestion.
And here's what, so
Go ahead. You might be thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
I'm hoping with the red light, green light, that she puts the book back and withdraws. Jesse says, "I swear it was right there," and it's there.
I'm totally good with that too.
Cool, perfect.
And yes, but yeah, specifically the red light, green light was you just getting past the arm gestures. But no, I love this little and so he's looking about, and it's dark as hell. You guys can't see anything. Jules is the only one with a candle. And and Jules, sir, come bring the candle, and points and places his hand on this, and Jules' candle comes closer as the two of you are moving away. You can see into the bedroom a little at this point. And Mortimer points at the book, looks at Jules, looks at the book. Jules is "It wasn't, I know, but it is, I know." And them both kind of looking at each other, and you watch as Mortimer picks the book up and sits down on the bed and rolls and just snuggles up to this thing and pulls the blankets over and says, "Good night, Jules. We do not speak of this to Rilla. Good night, sir." And then you guys make your way
excellent
back to your relative homes.
3 cloaks will haunt you this night.
That's absolutely fabulous. Yeah. Specifically, the red light, green light. I was what are we going to do? I was oh yes, because I had planned for yes, incognito presence is terrific, but if somebody's in the door, how do you get past them? Well, yeah, okay, red light, green light, and just not quite limbo, but yeah, just squeezing by. Yeah, I love
That's
it.
Excellent.
You guys make your way back, and no need to, make any rolls, but you'll have to investigate later. But yeah, at this point, Jean-Paul has a very good baseline of the pages and stuff like that. And the last pages are, freshly inked, little sand still on there. But otherwise, yeah, job done, mission complete.
Wonderful.
And later that evening. Oh, go
real
ahead.
Quick. Okay, sorry. If you keep going, I was just going to say, I think Jean-Paul leaned on his virtue in the course of that, because he's trying to protect the town and everybody around. So that was his motivation.
I think that definitely applies. Mm-hmm.
All right, great.
Go ahead and restore thine willpower.
Wonderful.
All right. But yes, Gisela, I swear. For some reason, Gisela and Isabel are just interchangeable in my brain right now. But yes, Gisela, you make your way back into town. You had your nice long walk, and at this point probably feel a little bit worn out, but not terribly. You're used to walking most places and stuff like that. But now you have a thing to investigate. Any other specific things to do that night or evening, afternoon?
Not particularly. I do want to just basically go home and back to, because I have magic notes.
Her own little studies.
Yeah, and I was trying to think how this is written, and it's probably just a mishmash of languages.
Sure.
Because I'm trying to make it so that no one in this house can read it.
Have you started trying to write in high speech?
Maybe if I could figure out how to write it down, yeah.
Well, because
I don't think I'm not Like, I don't have the high speech fluency,
Correct.
so I can't
Oh no.
write anything detailed in high speech.
Right. No. And this is when you said mixed match, whatever, of languages. That's what I was like. And occasionally I'll put in this high speech thing because that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like this
a mess.
thing. Oh yeah, no, I love it. If somebody gets hold of it, it's going to look like you've gone mad.
Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. Yes. Very, very good. And basically, like a quick little detail of I saw this thing in the water and I followed it here and I'm very curious about this. So like half of a journal to herself and then half like scientific notes, so to speak.
Yeah, notes about and then like other magics and how that like felt and what I saw when doing this. And
I like that.
there's like a page of the description of the seeing a ghost. And
I'm just glad I'm not the only one playing a Stormlight character in this run.
and meeting a spirit. And
Cool. I like that. All right. And then we have Theo and Jean Paul make it home. We have things wrapping up at the tavern. Madame Robert speaks with the two gentlemen when Isabel points them out, and there's some very not necessarily stern words, because that's probably not the way to go to get these guys to keep their mouth shut, but it's like, listen, couple free drinks, just keep your mouth shut, and for the most part these guys are like, listen, what are we going to get from ruining your reputation compared to getting drinks? Because let's be honest, they ruin
This is the only place to get it.
Right, but like you ruin her reputation, you just like, okay, welcome to the newly invented band wall.
Right.
Like you are no longer out, go enjoy your moonshine that you try and come, if that, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that Arcelia looks over as Madame Robert is having a conversation with, effectively, in terms of the town, two nobodies. And Madame Robert does not bother with nobodies. And Arcelia is looks over at you, looks over at that. And it's like, is it... shrug. It's like, what is going on over there? I don't know. Little updates from around town over the 2 weeks, because I realized that I hadn't actually gone over what's happened in town. So first couple days, obviously the mines are down. Both mines are back in action. Tunnel 3 over there on the first mine is basically left cluttered up for now. None of the miners really want to touch it, and are still even kind of hesitant to go in there. The team leaders, the other shift leaders, have come over to mine 2 and seen the safety lamps, and it makes it a little bit darker, but if this is safer, they've kind of got on board. I'm sure Jean Paul is kind of involved in that and just talking with it and making the I don't think it would be rote, but the comment like, hey, listen, if any of you and any of the miners are having struggles, we're here to help too, which does cut to the weird thing that has happened is that there are a couple miners who have shown up and they're going like, all right, we'll try this, because after the collapse, it is two of the guys, well, one is the guy who was in with Mortimer on the other side and saw what happened to Arthur, and then another is just another guy who was in there near the collapse, and they're like, I don't feel comfortable in there anymore, because that was a section of mine that should not have collapsed for any reason. Actually, that does remind me of a thing. We'll come back to that. Just remind me that there was a thing, guys. So they basically like, all right, yeah, let's, walk us through some stuff. And I think this would be something where, especially Jean Paul trying to promote the rest of the leadership, it's like, okay, you're going to sit with so-and-so, and they're going to walk you through probably meditation to start, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, we have, some pair of these miners in the little meditation part of the mine, which that takes a bit of convincing. Oh no, we're going into our mine to do this, and like, can't we do it right here at the brightly lit barracks? No, we gotta go do it. Okay.
Gotta be in the space.
The thing I was remembering, does Gisela go back to study the supernal being?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going back to try to get a better look at it?
Mhm. Yep.
Because did I get anything from it?
You cleared the first set of opacity, which was, I would have to go back and check. This is the third one. So you have 2 opacity left. This is one of the things I was like, over the 2 weeks is definitely when she would probably do it. Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and roll again for the second visit, which you could have easily done while the mines weren't active, and then we'll see where we need to go from there. But that'll be Gnosis plus Fate plus, and actually, for fairness sake, we'll say it was just 1 Gnosis. And then if you're going to spend any mana, let me know.
I'd spend 2.
Okay. Cool. So that clears that second opacity, which leaves you with 1 more. The other thing that you get from studying and starting the scrutiny is that you recognize, okay, I thought so before. I am sure this is a supernal being of fate and matter. And you pick up not necessarily its name, but what it is. And it is basically a is the natural bad luck of entropy. Of things wearing down and just breaking. Just things that aren't, your brand new phone, using modern, brand new phone that just suddenly, something weird happened to it and now it doesn't fucking work.
Is its name the supernal equivalent of collapse?
I mean, it could be.
I don't know. Just things fall apart, right? As a consequence of entropy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I gotcha. Yeah. I don't think of these names. I always make the players make the names up.
Gotcha.
And then you could definitely go ahead and roll again from later in those 2 weeks. Also, Craig, does Theo go back into the mines at one point? Because I know you had failed in your first roll, and Ash clears it, so we'll come back around to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you fail, you still, know that there's something you don't know.
Right. I mean, because no matter what, it is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Now is rolling matter and gnosis?
Correct. You had failed once. You have an opacity of 2.
No.
Yep.
I have to keep on poking on that.
Well, now bear in mind, at this point,
you fuck it up again.
Right. Which, of course, Theo doesn't know, but hereafter failures are going to have an effect on the mystery for others who are studying it, which nobody else is studying this currently because Gisela is studying the supernal being. You're studying the effect. But you accrue no successes if the player has already made a number of rolls equal to the unmodified dice pool, so your gnosis plus matters with the 2, then a failed rolls adds half of the mage's gnosis rounded up to the mystery's opacity. So hereafter, you will actually make this more difficult if you fail.
Okay.
Very, very good, way to learn some stuff and out of character on a, kind of low stakes kind of scenario. But yes, for Gisela, having completed all this, and we're not going to do another revelation. I'm happy, we've cleared all the opacity. Yes, this is a Moiray, and I think you get that in high speech. and the thing when you clear the opacity and kind of get that revelation of what this thing is, again, similar to when you'd spoken aloud in high speech, it has it settles its attention on you, and again, it's this swirling thing. There's no eyes, but just all of a sudden, oh hi you, kind of thing. And matter and fate, and it doesn't give off malevolent vibes, but because people are people and this thing likes to see things fall apart, it probably feels malevolent, even though it's just it's a natural thing. But you also recognize that this thing lives here.
Okay, so this is... It didn't come here. It is here.
Yep, it hangs out here. This mine.
That's bad news for the miners.
Yep.
Yeah, how do
Not good.
How do I break that to anyone without sounding completely insane?
What was your planned shadow name, by the way?
Yeah. Okay, well, good to know. Also, it's noticed me, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Also a thing.
Can't study a supernal without it noticing you, right?
Not with Focus Mage, so you sure can't, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Completely unrelated to any of this topic. Chris, did you ever spend that XP on that thing we talked about? Okay, noted.
Do you have time to fit in the thing with Mr. Broussard and Theo?
Oh yeah, that's actually a good spot where we can kind of start and do a cliffhanger. 'Cause I like me my cliffhangers.
And then we
it
can
gives
do
me
the astral stuff
strength for
next
prep.
time.
Right, and that's what we'll lead into. Yep.
So Theo starts up the mine in the next couple days with a basket with a kerchief over it. Just
Okay,
kind of
cool.
walking a bit of a sway and tracks you down. Says, do you have a moment? I brought you some tarts.
The bribery
Sorry.
begins.
Here's some
I'd be
berry
happy to
tarts in the
talk to you
basket.
without a gift. Yes. Folk, of course, politely excuses himself from whatever he was doing.
So Catherine and I had a talk, and just glance around. Is there anyone else within earshot? We've decided to, and she'll use a supernal word for stay.
Ooh.
She does that for a couple of reasons. One, so she knows, the impact of it, that it's a significant change for her.
Yeah.
But I have some personal issues with wealthy landowners. I'm sure you can relate.
I can.
So Catherine came up with a brilliant idea of setting up a homestead on the other side of the river.
That is brilliant.
She's very smart. Way smarter than I am.
We'll see if
Go adjust her stats.
I was hoping that I might be able to... We'd like to raise a house.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand with the mine situation as it is right now, some of your folks may be looking for things to do.
That is true.
I'm not much of a carpenter. But if you have anyone among your people with talents that might be able to help, we really use a hand.
Seems like Cloak starts paying even closer attention to you than he usually does. And he pauses for a moment and says, "Do you remember one of the first things I said to you when we crossed paths some weeks ago in the center of town?"
You said a few things to me. What exactly were you referring to?
I said that you and I have a lot in common. because we're not where we wanted to be. And we have to decide whether or not this is going to be home.
I do remember.
And now you come to me and share the news that you've chosen it to be home, and ask for me and mine to help you make it a home you like. And then the non-Terminator smile comes on and he says, I'm grateful.
I'm not sure I understand why you would be grateful to me.
Well, in the history of the world, people of black skin haven't been welcomed everywhere.
Yes, I see what you mean.
And I think that helping you and Catherine and Beloja create a place for you that will make you feel safe and make you feel welcome will do a lot to remind the people in my care that they are more than what people say they are, that they can do good, and that regardless of their experiences, there are always new opportunities to participate in. I think it will do a lot for them, as much as it will do for you.
Well, I'm glad that we can help each other out there.
As am I.
I have some coins saved up.
Won't be necessary.
You sure?
Yes. This is a gift you give us. Why would you pay us to accept a gift?
Because it feels like I'm on the heavier side of that particular transaction. But I will not insult you by refusing.
Thank you. And with regard to the balance, perhaps you should just wait and see how it affects their behavior, their mood, and their attachment to this place.
Very well.
When do you want to do
Thank
it?
you. The lands on the far side of the river are unclaimed, so whenever it's convenient, I'll start shopping around for suitable tracts of land with Catherine in the next couple days.
And you'll
Stay
probably
in
have to
touch.
order lumber.
Mm-hmm. Or brick.
Unless they build the sod house.
Get fancy. No, I don't know if Catherine's up for living in the Saudi.
I asked Craig about that, and he's like, nah, Catherine's not. I was like, yeah, that seems about right.
She wants a real house.
Yeah.
And without getting too meta-y, does Jean-Paul basically bring up a, hey, by the way, talking about, you can help me out kind of thing.
Sure. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, now I know what you're hinting at. Yeah. So after we decided that, then he pauses and he says, I also have a favor to request from you.
Very well.
When we joined minds in the dreamscape, it gave me the courage and resolution to dive deeper and go inward into my own soul.
I confess I've tried a couple times myself without success.
I'm confident I will succeed this time. And I would like for you to witness what happens to me when I do so, because I won't be able to observe from the outside.
Okay. She's pretty flippant in her answer, but she understands that this is a significant sharing. So she gives a quick answer, but she's aware of the impact of it.
Thank you.
Do I need to prepare in any way?
I don't think so.
All right.
We'll do
Just
it tonight,
let
as
me know
usual.
when and give. Sure. Like tonight or.
Why wait?
Well, fair enough. I'll need to talk to Catherine.
Of course. I bet she'll be more receptive, considering you'll also have good news of your own to share.
Yes, I expect that will be true.
Cool. And with that, and a little side note of, and Theo goes by the general store and says, "Hey, I need bricks." Or something similar.
Well, no, I was being facetious when I said bricks because there's no way she could afford bricks, but lumber, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as we have
lumber
mentioned,
is more expensive in this setting.
right?
And this isn't, is it? Okay.
And
If you
bear in
want
mind
bricks,
because
make 'em.
I mean, we can make bricks.
correct, because that
And
was
you
the
have the
other
bricks
thing I was
and
going to
haul
bring
them.
up. Mhm.
Sorry,
and
I'm
because
interrupting you.
there's-
Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. There's because there is a brick maker in town, just pulling from the
Oh.
clay from the river and stuff like that. And so there's not a ton, and most of it goes towards things like chimney kind of stuff.
Fireplaces
But-
and things, yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, you could definitely get brick from here if you're willing to, wait the while that it's going to take to get a whole house worth, or like, oh yeah, just do a big room and then we can, evolve from there. So
Yep.
yeah. Oh, fireworks season, it's not great. But with that, we will end here, and we will have apparently a little bit of Oneros diving. On episode 10, which is actually about where we did with the Rookery. Because that was around... Oh, no, that was a bit later. It was like 28, so it would have been like 14th session. So yeah, a little bit earlier. And the potential discovery on the trail of a Hallow, and I'm trying to think, there was something else on the supernal being, and then Chris's thing, which I forgot about. I apologize, but now it is forefront in my
I
memory.
got a few things for next week.
Yes, a lot of good
We're
stuff
also
next
going to
week.
see the rest of the book
Yeah,
if there's
yeah.
time.
Yeah, write it.
Yeah.
You gotta do that, right?
Fortunately, I know what's actually in the book. I was just like, oh, I'll just give you the. Oh, okay. They want the whole book. All right. Well, fine.
I mean, you're a professional writer now, Drew. You can write it out.
Indeed, true.
I have been paid half of my amount. I get the other half when it gets published, and I can't believe I still can't tell you what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you have a date for when it's
I
actually
have
like
nothing.
released? No. Oh.
It's the worst. I'm like, I don't even know.
OPP books don't have release dates. Are you
Yes.
kidding?
I was hoping that I'd at least get a date of like, okay, now that we're done writing, we can tell you when we're going to announce it. So I've been watching the Monday meeting notes like a hawk. On the plus side, Player's Guide to Contagion Chronicle is out for backers. We've been talking about it a little bit in Discord. Heat into.space. Come by, hang out, chat. There is 12 pages of how Arcana works with other splats. There's a bunch of other stuff in the book too that's also very good, but the part that matters is the Arcana with other splats. Mages are way scarier than you thought they were. It is a death 1 spell to send a vampire into torpor. Now, there's going to be some Clash of Wills, and
You have to. It calls out. You have to have studied it though.
Oh yeah. Like there's no way just a random ass mage just goes, oh yes, that.
You're dead.
You have to know how
You're
to
fine.
do it, but you can do it.
Yep. And so yes, it's very, very good, and it's got some other good stuff about playing with with a couple different splats, and technically they buffed all the other splats, so now they can use willpower on Clash of Wills too, but they have to be present in the scene where their effect is. Mages just get it on any of their spells. They don't actually have to be present because it's their spell. They're kind of present in the scene, and that's kind of my thing. But yeah, so there's a lot of little bits and bobs. So if you are somebody who runs games with multiple splats and you're not sure how they necessarily work together, highly suggest picking it up when it comes to Drive-Thru RPG. Probably in the next month or so. There will definitely be a link in our Discord, eatindu.space, and we'll mention it there. And of course, if you want to support us monetarily, you can actually, there's an affiliate link there. And then of course you can come by patreon.com/occultistanonymous or staylucky.club and support us there. Thank you all very much for supporting, hanging out with us. The awesome support that the Discord has is a real good, keeps me coming back every week, and I never feel burnt out. I mean, the players are cool too, but it's you guys that makes me come back.
It's a community.
Damn.
The community is very good. What was that, Chris?
Damn.
Yeah. I just put up with these knuckleheads.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So yes, thank you very much, everybody, and yes, thank you to my players because they are awesome and keep me on my toes. We will
more to come.
See you all next week.
Yeah, I colored within the lines this
I
week.
do appreciate that. And you gave me both an active hubris and sleeper drama. Yeah. We'll talk about. We do it off screen, but we know who the favorite player is today. Thank you guys. We'll catch you next time.
Sounds good. See you later.